Well, g'day everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we are taking a bit of a field trip. I'm heading up to my uncle's place and I'm gonna go trade him this one that I made, and he's got an old anvil that he wants to trade for it, so taking it up to see him up bush, so out in country Victoria, and gonna swap him a knife for an anvil. He also has another little toy that I'm getting off him. So we've got Bob obviously along for the journey, and in the back there we have Dusty, who's drinking at the water which we keep in the car. Always have a heap of water for them. So let's hit the road. It's probably about a 3-hour drive to my uncle's place, so I'll take a little bit of video on the way and show you guys what it's like. Alright, off we go. Okay, this is a classic example of suburban Melbourne where I live. As you can see, everyone lives cheek by jowl, you know, it's very sort of close. We're lucky enough to have a little park here in my area where the kids can go play, and I've got a great big dog in the way. But yeah, I'm tiny little acre open space is sort of about as green as it gets around here. But that's the joys of living in the suburbs. Alright, I'll catch you guys again in a bit. Okay, fueling up for the journey. For the Americans who complain about fuel prices, this is per litre, and there's about 4 litres to a gallon. So my diesel's costing me $1.19, $1.20 per quarter gallon. So there we go. Prices are a little bit different down here. Okay, about a quarter mile from the house and we are onto the freeway with the obligatory roadworks on the freeway. Stupid stop signals to get on the away we go. As you can see, they're doing freeway expansion works. Hopefully they're going to give us 5 lanes soon, because this freeway is absolutely hopeless. Alright guys, I will catch you again in a bit. Okay, about 20 minutes driving and we're coming into the city area. It's a bit of a build-up sort of section. That's St Kilda sort of area. Okay, there we have the Melbourne skyline. And the famous in Melbourne at least, Knowledge sign, which used to tell you the time and temperature. And up ahead of us is Melbourne Park, which is a big soccer ground. And over there with those lights we have the MCG. Well, that's Amy Park nowadays. They keep changing the names. It's hard to keep track. And we go down into a tunnel which goes underneath the city. Okay, onto the Boldy Bridge, which I think is supposed to be the longest bridge in the southern hemisphere or something like that. Took ages to build and disrupted the roads like nothing. And over there, if you can see it, is the Melbourne Star Wheel. Now this thing took about 7 years to build. Parts came from China. It busted as it was going. It was just an absolute mess, which is pretty typical of anything run by the Victorian government, but hey, is what it is. Okay, over there we have some lovely old tenement flats that are still in use. Those ones I think are the South Melbourne ones, and over here are the North Melbourne ones, and they were the source of the latest outbreak. They tend to be a place where newly immigrated people move into. They live very tightly in these places. They are little dog boxes in the air. You know, wonderful place to live. Not. So yeah, it's a great hive of disease communication. Yeah, lovely brown concrete building. You know, yeah, like I said, a dog box in the air. And here we have the sound tunnel to keep the sound of the freeway away from the people who live in them. Those red pickup sticks, I don't know any other way to name them, and that yellow thing are supposedly art that the country or the state has paid a fortune for. Alright folks, there we have Calder Park, which is pretty much the end of the continuous suburbs. So about 50 minutes driving to get through them all from my place, which isn't the end of the suburbs on the other side. Now, Calder Park is basically the Aussie version of a NASCAR track. We've got a round track that goes around. We've also got street legal drag racing goes on in there. So, yeah, there we go. And we are out into the country. Yahoo! It has been at least about 8 months since I've been out in the country, so this is going to be great. Okay everyone, late lunch on the road, and someone insisted that we stop so we can get some Macca's cheeseburger patties. Yes, you may. Leave it. Alright, just wait. Alright, we're going to finish our lunch and get back on the road. Leave it, Bob. Bobby. Yes, you may. Good boy. Someone loves going for a country drive, especially when there's lunch involved, don't you, Bobs? And dust. Okay, folks, about an hour and a half in, still driving down freeways, but yeah, there's a sense of freedom being out in the country again. Now you'll notice there's a lot of Radiata Points out in the country. They used to be planted a long time ago as the boundary trees on farmers' properties. So you'll notice them out in the countryside. They generally tend to be in straight lines. A lot of the property lines are now broken up, so you'll only find short sections of it, and not the big sort of boundary line sections that you used to find. Now, little tip for you, Radiata Points are a great place to find saffron milk-cap mushrooms, which are delicious. And you can see just over that way, behind that car, there's another line of pines over there. Again, yeah, they used to be the boundary lines. You can see it's not too bad for green around this area. This area is normally not too bad. It'll get pretty brown come summertime though. Alright, talk to you in a bit. Okay, I really had to get some footage of this. Here's one that you won't like to see in America. High risk area for kangaroos in the next 10 kilometres. Basically, kangaroos for us are pretty much the same as deer over in the US. They become a road hazard when they build up in big mobs. When it's green like it is at the moment, they'll tend to build up in big mobs, and you'll get trouble on the road, especially come dusk or evening. As you're driving along the road, you find a lot of kangaroos around. Alright, on we go again. Of course, this nuisance on the road is universal across quite a few countries. Okay, 2 hours in and we are finally off the freeways and on the country roads. This area here is more sort of scrubland. As you can see, the blackness of the trunks of the trees, fire does sweep through this kind of area fairly often. And then we got some farmland in through the scrub. Bit of cleared farmland through there. But yeah, iron fire comes through. You know, it's something that it's just part of summer for us here in Australia. Fires come through all the time. It's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. Okay, here we are up in gold country, and you can see the wheat crop is pretty much ready to harvest. There's actually a few bales of hay out there in the fields, so they're in the middle of harvest of wheat at the moment. So yeah, we're late spring coming into early summer, and we're already getting to that dry sort of phase. Yeah, it's a bit warmer up here in the gold area than it is back in town. Okay, a little break on the way, and this is the kind of area that the trees whistle the dogs come summertime. It gets pretty dry. And there we have an old Goldfields era hotel, nice old country pub. So you can sit around outside. They didn't have air conditioning back in the day, and you know, solid sort of brick structure that's later been added onto with a weatherboard sort of area. As you can see, as we've come further north, the land's got a lot drier. You know, we've come further inland, and yeah, inland Australia is a lot drier. You know, most of the paddocks are only good for raising sheep. A few scrubby grasses and that sort of thing. That looks like it's got a wheat crop in it. Over this side it's just purely grasses, so it's only going to be used for raising sheep. Sheep don't take the same amount of water as cattle do, so you know, they work out better for a dry land than. As you can see, a lovely old Goldfields town, lots of pubs, lots of old houses. Brick weatherboard. Lovely old area. I just love it out in the country. You know, that old classic sort of architecture, it's fantastic. Typically European style trees, so people felt at home. And yeah, there's a lot of pubs in Goldfield towns. There's another one. Alright folks, here we are at my uncle's place, and as you can hear by the noise, all the dogs are wanting to play, aren't you Bobs? So mine want to get out and play with the uncles. So that's it for the road trip. Quiet. Alright, that's it for the road trip, and we'll show a bit more later on. Alright, thanks everyone. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.